Welcome, Wargamers, to the icy hot mortal realms, because today we are talking about what happens when a wild frost meets fiery order, as today's story involves both Fyreslayers and the Icebone Warclan of Bone Splitters, and this is in a story called Frost and Flame that is pulled straight out of the Auric Warclan's battle tome. So let's give that a read. The Icebone Warclan launch an assault upon the Turgum Vault of the Lofnir Lodge of Fyreslayers, seeking to hunt their fearsome Magmadroths. The Duarden unleash magmic lava flows in an attempt to drown the Bone Splitters in fire, but the Icebone's arrow boys loose so many frost-tipped arrows that the rivers of lava cool into hardened rock. Boar Boy maniacs charge over these bridges and spill into the vault, slaying dozens of Magmadroths and stealing their bones. Now, for those of you who are new to Age of Sigmar, or these kind of factions at play, let's break them down. The Lofnir are a very particular sub-faction within the Fyreslayers, right? So, as a broad thing, all Fyreslayers have this fiery theme, as you may expect from the name, living underground near magma vaults and harnessing the heat of the earth to fuel their impressive and ever-hungry forges. But the Lofnir set themselves apart in this story for a very specific reason. They are, as a lodge, more closely connected to their preferred beasts, meaning the Magmadroths, more so than any other lodge. They are better at procuring Magmadroth eggs to raise them, better at commanding them as mounts into battle, and use them more in daily life than other lodges. And that's going to become really stinking important because their opponent for today is the Icebone Warclan, a sub-faction of Bone Splitters. Now, I've done a full week on the Bone Splitters, and quite frankly, we'll likely redo that once the new book drops, hopefully sometime this century, but essentially, these are orcs that see the primal power of their deity, Gorka Morka, in the bones of large beasts. That is, they go and they hunt the biggest monsters they can find, and carry their bones as totems, trinkets, badges, and through some means tap into the primal power within them. To anyone else, they're just bones. They don't have any value, but the Bone Splitters can see and harness the energy within them. Now, the Icebone clan is no different in that regard, but they are distinct only in their point of origin. Instead of wide, expansive plains or thick forests, the Icebone, as you expect, come from a frozen tundra, seeing the jagged ice mountains as reminiscent of Gorka Morka's teeth and carving a life for themselves in this place. They wield these crude weapons made from fallen shards of ice that are so powerfully infused with magic that they can freeze an enemy solid upon contact, and this makes them an incredible hunting party. They can pin their enemies in place and quickly scrabble to swarm all over them, cleaving and hacking, and this is how a bunch of tiny orcs can take out huge monsters. But there's a whole lot more going on here than just an ice theme meeting a fire theme. These are two factions of deeply religious zealots using their unique strengths against one another. The Bone Splitters want to hunt the Magmadroths, so they launch an assault. The Fyreslayers, being particularly adept in using said Magmadroths, counterattack. The Bone Splitters want the bestial energy in those bones, and the Fyreslayers see all martial victories as glory to Grimnir. And from there, it devolves into who has the coolest trick up their sleeves, and in this way, the Bone Splitters are pretty clever. You see, one of the reasons the Fyreslayers have survived as long as they did was their use of natural defenses. There are a couple of stories of various armies trying to break into a magma hold, only to be swept away by lava. And that's not by accident. They don't just live among wild, moving rivers of lava. Instead, they've created rather ingenious traps, defenses, fortifications, and so on that use naturally occurring magma and rock formations to their advantage. And usually that's enough. Someone breaks into your magma hold, okay, the Fyreslayer army will go out and fight for a bit, fall back, and lead the invading army into the path of a lava pit, let it open, wash them away. If it's done well, they can eliminate enough of the attacking army to kill any threat of a second attack. Like, they just don't have enough manpower to do another full assault, including dig into the magma hold. And I love that idea. It's defensive, but with a lot of like common sense in the way that they use the natural environment. But in this story, they are not the only ones who know how to use environments at their disposal, because the Icebone do the exact same thing, but theirs is maybe a bit easier to wield. You see, the shards of ice that I mentioned before, they carry some form of supernatural cold within them that is unleashed upon whatever they hit, not just beasts, just whatever. If it's an axe head, whatever it hits is going to freeze. If it's an arrowhead, the small area around the point of impact will do the exact same. And so the lava pits get unleashed. I'm sure some of them died to it. But what was intended to be an impassable river of liquid lava became a well-paved highway to the bone splitters, because as they fired these freezing arrows, the lava froze. When lava cools, what does it become? Rock. It's just normal rock. And I think about some of those nature videos where like volcanoes erupt and the lava kind of flows down the mountain and hits the water and it cools right there. And it makes this like fairly smooth black rock. And then there's just like steam everywhere. And you know what's really good at traveling over a smooth, hard surface? Like literally everything. So I can imagine these gouts of steam, the Fyreslayers not really knowing what's up. They're like, oh, there's not usually this much steam when we wash away our enemies in liquid rock. Then a full charge of Boar Boy maniacs, which are the more zealot-like versions of Boar Boys, just going wild. Now I have a bit more to talk about here in terms of why I think this story is so much fun and why I wanted to cover it, and we'll get to that right after a quick word from today's sponsor. Hey Wargamers, Doug here, and I have something to improve your hobby no matter what game you play. The Level Up is a game table system designed to raise and increase your gaming space in an easy and efficient way. You don't have to buy a $5,000 mega uber gaming table of excellence kind of a thing, because the Level Up uses a system of interlocking tiles raised up 6 inches by stainless steel non-slip legs. And because of the different options you have on where you put those leg mounts in, you can actually increase the size of your gaming surface. So here's what I mean. My dining room table is a 42-inch wide circle. However, I took the skirmish variant of the Level Up and I was able to turn that into a perfect 3 foot by 4 foot gaming table. And there are actually 5 sizes that this system supports. Now, in addition to having the very common, sizes of boards that we would play on, as I said before, the Level Up raises your gaming space up 6 inches. And if you're tall like me at 6'3", it's a blessing for your back. In addition, each copy of your Level Up, no matter what size you get, comes with these really nifty clips. So if you do put, say, a D&D map, or, of course, your neoprene gaming mat that a lot of us use in this hobby, you can clip it and secure it there so there's no sliding around whatsoever. But what's interesting is that even if you already have your own 6 foot by 4 foot table, the fact that it's now raised up means you can use the real estate underneath your table. So you're actually gaining room for all of your reference material, your measuring stuff, where dead units can go. All those kinds of things fit really well underneath there. And so I even put a battle tome sideways so you can see just how much room there is. The Level Up crushed its Kickstarter, doing exceptionally well, and now that product is fully hitting the market, all funded and ready to go. So if you would like one, go ahead and check it out in the link down below. Now, back to the video. Alright friends, so why is this cool? My favorite part of these videos. The Fyreslayers and the Bone Splitters, to me, have always been two sides of the same coin. The Fyreslayers collect Urgold in order to bring back Grimnir, and the Bone Splitters collect bones in an effort to commune with Gorka Morka. They both have tangible things that they're searching for in order to commune with a higher power. Both of them are horde armies that are just a lot of foot infantry. They're built around many tough warriors with a strong religious overtone, whether it's from something like a lodge leader or a Wurgog prophet. So I love the idea of this story starting with those base similarities, but then everything else is opposite, including all the thematic things around them, right? The themes of fire and ice, beast handlers and beast hunters. And this is a great story because it showcases both sides of what makes them cool, right? And I guess that's kind of my favorite thing about these small stories that are pulled from battle tomes. The best ones always give both sides a really cool looking moment. The Fyreslayers with their defenses and rivers of magma and Magmadroths thrashing all over the place, like they seem awesome. The Bone Splitters with their crazy weapons who just kind of luck their way into victory by being able to freeze it into like a highway. is just so fun. And when I think about what that might actually look like in a tangible sense with, rolling magma river coming in and then steam as arrows hit it and the charge over smooth road from that steam, it just sounds like it would be an incredible moment to capture, and that gets me excited. I like when both armies have a chance to do their cool thing and then one side just comes out on top. And lastly here, I put for the things that I like, it's not an extinction level event, right? So a lot of these stories you'll read and it's like, and this lodge was wiped out of existence, or a whole army will be destroyed, there's no survivors, all these kinds of things. This ain't that, right? The Bone Splitters won, and they took a bunch of Magmadroth bones with them, but they didn't extinguish the lodge, which I like. It's boring when one side just evaporates. Give me grudges. Give me survivors who have, a bone to pick with the Bone Splitters. If there was a Lofnir Lodge player near me, you bet I would pick up some Icebone Warclan stuff. That sounds like an immense amount of fun. And I'm just a sucker for that. I like when both factions get to punch and take their sides, whereas, you'll read some stories in the Ogre Matribes Battle Tome, they do it a lot, where it's and then they ate all the defenders. There's just nobody left. You're well, okay, it seems like they're not going to suffer any consequences. This is a story where it's we've created a feud, and I like that kind of thing. But anyway, friends, I would love to hear your thoughts on this story. What do you think about the Icebone Warclan? Are you excited to see them in the new book that's hopefully coming out soon? And if you are a Fyreslayer player, tell me what you think about Lofnir. I know it's not the most popular of them all, but I love the Magmadroth kit. It's the easiest model to get a hold of in the Fyreslayer army, and I just think it's the most fun looking one amongst them. Tell me your thoughts in the description down below. I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll catch you next time. Happy wargaming.